Hello all, and welcome back to another episode of Buy This Not That. Today we have a budget guitar edition. We're going to pit a JS series Jackson against a Harley Benton Fusion, which, are growing in popularity. But unfortunately, as you know, only one guitar can be victorious. All right, this is the axe. Let's go! Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new, my name's Nick. I once ate a Chipotle burrito in 15 seconds. Today we're pitting a couple budget Super Strat guitars against each other to see which one gives you more metal for your money. Hopefully this episode doesn't ruffle too many feathers because I think you'll be surprised. We're looking at the Jackson JS32 DKAM archtop versus the Harley Benton Fusion-III FR, which they both come in at $399. This is actually a pretty interesting comparison because one brand arguably makes some of the best metal guitars ever made, and the other is becoming a budget brand powerhouse. Some would argue that buying outside of budget brands is completely asinine because you're basically just paying for the name for the bigger brands, but this obviously doesn't make the traditionalists happy.
I make the ribosomes happy.
Per usual, we'll take a look at a few things: construction, hardware, electronics, trim, and the overall appearance. All right, let's start with construction, my dudes. Both of these axes sport 24 frets and a 25.5 scale. The Jackson Dinky sports a Super Strat shape made of poplar, but has that arch top construction. This is something that's pretty cool, especially at that budget level in this JS series. The Dinky has a bolt-on neck, which actually is what really distinguishes it from its older brother, the Jackson Soloist. Now the neck is made of maple with a graphite reinforcement and a scarf joint up at the top. The fretboard is also maple, and that comes in a 12 to 16 inch compound radius. Jackson almost always uses scarf joints, which gives the guitar good nut break tension, but it also eliminates the need for string trees, which can hang up the strings sometimes. Something to note is that the Dinky's truss rod adjustment is actually up at the headstock, which is pretty traditional. Now on to the Harley Benton, which sports a Nyato body, a bolt-on flame roasted neck, and a 12-inch radius fretboard. Now a nice plus for this Harley Benton is that the truss rod adjustment is actually located at the heel, which is really nice because you don't have to remove a plate. Under the finish, it has a flamed maple wood veneer, and then it has that natural wood binding around the body. Pretty cool construction scheme for just under $400. Lastly, and this is just for like all you neurotic players out there, the knob placement on these guitars differ a little bit, with the Jackson having their knobs a little bit towards the back, more towards the trim, where the Harley Benton really has the knobs kind of close to the bridge pickup. This is something to think about if you are someone that actually turns the volume down as you play with like your pinky. I know I do, so it's something I personally look at. Lastly, about these guitars is that the Jackson is crafted and QC'd in China, whereas the Harley Benton is crafted and QC'd in Indonesia. All right, moving on to hardware. The Jackson has some pretty standard hardware, coming in with Jackson branded sealed die-cast tuner machines up at the top, a double locking nut made of zinc alloy, and two black dome style knobs on the body. The Dinky also has pickup rings around both of its humbuckers, adding to that black and white contrast, which is actually pretty cool on this guitar. But if you have a goddamn soul, you know pickup rings are gross. I'm just kidding, but really. Now the Harley Benton Fusion rocks some standard chrome hardware with just a few upgrades. The tuners are some nice non-locking Grover machine heads with a matching double locking nut. Down on the body, the Fusion has two chrome dome style knobs and no pickup rings to be found. Now I don't know if this should be covered in the hardware section, but the Fusion does come standard with stainless steel frets, which are a nice touch. All right, now let's look at electronics. Considering these are budget price guitars, we're not gonna find pickups stock from major brands like Seymour Duncan or EMG. But the Dinky is an HH setup that comes with two Jackson brand high output humbuckers. These pickups are actually pretty good and can model a variety of tones that you might be looking for. Unfortunately, this guitar does not come standard with push-pull coil splitting capability, but as always, you can mod this at a later date. Now the Fusion comes stock with a pair of Roswell HAF Alinco 5s. Harley Benton throws a lot of Roswell pickups stock in a lot of their guitars. These Roswells on the Fusion are good for hard rock and are claimed to be hotter than vintage in its output on the website. I have a pair of Roswells on one of my Harley Bentons, and there really are some pros and cons. Pros being that the Roswells can really play a variety of stuff, including jazz, blues, and some heavier riffs. Cons are that I'd really never use my Roswells for actual like metal riffage. But in the Harley Benton, these pickups do come stock with a push-pull coil splitting capability, which is a nice touch. Moving on to trims, which you guys probably know is my favorite. Now, if you're looking for info on different trims and their quality, I make a ton of videos. I'll put one up here and a link in the description. So the Jackson Dinky rocks a Jackson licensed Floyd Rose. These trims are usually constructed with a zinc alloy or some type of alloy product. It's typically a way for Jackson and other brands to keep their guitars a little less expensive. In regards to functionality, these trims usually work pretty good. They just do have an issue with lasting over the long term, and that also depends on how much tremolo you use in your playing. A positive to this trim is that the pull spacing native to the guitar allows for a direct swap to an upgraded Floyd Rose if you so choose. You may just have to do some minor routing for the bushings, but that's really it. Now the tremolo is really where the Fusion shines in this comparison. This guitar comes stock with a Floyd Rose 1000 series. This is a Korean-made trim made off the original Floyd Rose design and is reported to use the same hardened steel. This is debated in some circles, but the 1000 series is a step up from the manufacturer's licensed Floyd Rose. Knowing this, the Harley Benton does really have the Jackson beat out in this department, albeit most buyers will probably switch out both of the trims in these guitars. But if you're looking for a quality trim stock, the Harley Benton Fusion is a good deal. All right, lastly, let's check out the overall appearance because the key to playing good is looking good. Jackson makes it pretty easy with the JS32 coming in two finishes, white and black. Overall, the JS32 has that classic shredder look with the signature Jackson headstock and the black shark fin inlays. The white finish version of this guitar looks so cool with the black contrasted hardware and also the maple fretboard. And let's not forget the Jackson JS32 comes with that archtop construction, which gives it that really unique look. Now onto the Harley Benton, and this guitar comes in several different finishes, which if you visit the website seems to change almost daily. Currently you can get a charcoal burst, blue burst, or flamed purple in this HH design. Now the guitar doesn't really scream Shredmeister like the Jackson, and it looks kind of more like a standard Strat design. But to Harley Benton's credit, I think that's the reasoning behind the whole Fusion name, really marrying a bunch of different styles together. Despite the look, the flame roasted neck and the chrome hardware really is a nice touch and it looks solid. All right, we have a tough decision here and we have to figure out which guitar will give you more metal for your money. This one was super hard because both these guitars differed in a lot of areas and are pretty good for a budget guitar. But unfortunately, there can only be one. Okay, I'm gonna break the rules here and say this. The Jackson wins if you're gonna do a full swap of the pickups and the trim. Throw a Nazgul Sentient and an upgraded trim in the Jackson and you have an undeniable shred machine. Now stock off the shelf, Harley Benton wins this one. Coming in with a Floyd Rose 1000 and Grover tuners, the Fusion-III really gives you a lot for your money. Not to mention it comes stock with push-pull coil splitting and is QC'd and crafted in Indonesia, which is a step up from China. One alibi for this video is that if you're buying a Harley Benton in the States, shipping can add a lot of cost to this guitar. In my experience, it's cost me about $60 to $70 to get one shipped over here. So if you're looking into a Fusion-III, make sure you put it in your cart and see just how much shipping will cost you to get it over to the United States. Okay guys, that's just my 2 cents. Let me know what you think. If you have any one of these guitars, hit the like button and let us know below. With that said, I just want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by. If you haven't already, consider subscribing below to catch more videos like this. Otherwise, I will catch you later.